YouTube viewers. 81 Sedger, and I'm going to be doing a review today on the 1960s Hammer horror release of The Brides of Dracula. This film was made between the 26th of January and the 18th of March 1960 and was released on the 7th of July in 1960. The film itself stars Peter Cushing, David Peel, Freda Jackson, Yvonne Mongular, I think the name was, and the Martita Hunt as well. And it was directed by Terence Fisher, Mr. Hammer Horror himself. Right, I've got a bit of the backstory on the film. Originally, because of the horror of Dracula doing so well and basically bailing Universal out of bankruptcy, they wanted to do another film to follow on from that. So they came up with a script and a title, and originally The Brides of Dracula was going to be called The Disciple of Dracula, and because Christopher Lee wasn't going to be playing the lead role of the Count himself, they had to get different characters into the script. The villain is called Baron Meinster, which is what they stuck with in the final script, and who you see in the film itself. The hero was actually going to be called Latour, and I know at the end of the film, Latour was going to summon Count Dracula to take care of his own disciple, the Baron Meinster, and to kill him off. They then managed to get Peter Cushing on board, and I think he also wanted to have a few script changes, so they rewrote the film again, only to this time they called it just Dracula 2, and they made way for Van Helsing's character by removing Latour from the film. I think there was another ending involved as well in that script, where Baron Meinster is destroyed by ferocious vampire bats summoned by Van Helsing. But as you know, if you've seen the film itself, you know that isn't the ending. It's another ending altogether. And eventually, the final script and title was called The Brides of Dracula. As you can see, I've actually got it on in the background. You know, it's a fantastic film. I think it's it's not a direct sequel to The Horror of Dracula. I think Dracula, Prince of Darkness was the sequel. In my opinion, I don't like to call either of them sequels. I know Prince of Darkness had a few minutes at the beginning of the film where it showed the ending of The Horror of Dracula, but to me didn't seem to be a direct sequel, even though it's still good. And you know, The Brides of Dracula didn't have Peter Cushing in it, and no, I beg your pardon, didn't have Christopher Lee in it, and Dracula, Prince of Darkness didn't have Peter Cushing in it. So, you know, if they'd have both been in the same film, it would have been a fantastic sequel. As for the story of the film itself, basically the female lead, who was played by French actress Yvonne Mongular, she is travelling to a girls' academy to be a teacher. They stop at an inn, and whilst at the inn, her driver of the carriage that she was in, he drives off, and she can't make it to the academy in time. But while she's staying there, the Baroness Meinster who's played by Martita Hunt. She turns up at the inn, they get chatting, and she offers her the comfort of her own castle called Castle Moinster. They go up to the castle where she meets the Baroness Moinster's servant Greta, who was played by Frida Jackson. That's a fantastic role, that is. She plays that down it's very good. And they learn a little about the Baroness's son, who she has locked up in another room of the house, because basically he's pure evil. But to Danielle, the main female character, there's nothing wrong with him, so she lets him go. Little does she know that he is a vampire, and he terrorises the countryside then, turning all of the females in the village into his brides, hence the Brides of Dracula. Peter Cushing turns up in the film as Van Helsing, and he isn't there due to this. He's there following what people have said are vampire acts in the village, and he gets involved, and as you can tell, he then has to track down the Baron Moinster, who is played by David Peel. Quite funny though, I think when it was released in America, the American market had him down as a teenage vampire, but he was actually 40 years old at the time, David Peel, but he was able to pull off the younger vampire. That's pretty much everything about the film itself. Like I said, it's a brilliant film. It's not a direct sequel to The Horror of Dracula, but it is a good sequel. Personally, I prefer it better to Dracula Prince of Darkness. But if you want to see them in order, you got The Horror of Dracula, or I think just it's called Dracula. We got The Brides of Dracula, Dracula Prince of Darkness, Dracula Has Risen from the Grave. Then after that, I think we had Taste the Blood of Dracula. Then we have The Scars of Dracula, Dracula ID 1972, and then The Satanic Rites of Dracula. They're all very good, very good Hammer Horror Dracula movies. But this one happens to be one of my favourite Dracula films. Like I said, if you haven't seen it, you can pick it up now, relatively cheap. eBay, Amazon, that's the way to go. To see them in the complete set, that's what I would suggest. I'm going to put the trailer on after this review of the film itself, so keep watching and watch the trailer. And at the beginning of the review itself, I've put a little bit of the soundtrack to the film on with some various photographs that I've got of this movie. So I hope you enjoy those, and I'm going to leave it at that, and do another review soon. I'll probably go back to one of the Frankenstein films again. I like to alternate them if I can. So by all means, if I've got anything wrong, any information you think I might have wrong or anything, feel free to leave comments, because I'd like to know myself if I've got anything wrong. And I'll see you on the next review. Thank you very much.
Marianne, you hear the beat of fear within you? Fear that will rise to a shattering crescendo of terror. You have strayed into a world of evil, where frightened people are held in the grip of unearthly horror. Beware of pity for the handsome prisoner in the Castle Meister. Beware of love, for in your heart is only the pulsating throb of terror. starring Peter Cushing as the Doctor locked in mortal combat with overwhelming evil. Also starring Frida Jackson as Greta, who served the vampires with insane loyalty.
You needn't be afraid, she's dead.
Martita Hunt, the Baroness, victim of her own son. Beautiful Yvonne Monlore, France's latest sex kitten, as Marianne, whose beauty was her passport to the twilight world of the undead. David Peel as the Baron, blindingly handsome. Yet his kiss transformed the most beautiful girls into monsters.